Well, hello and welcome to all of you out there. We're back here at the Coyotes Curling Club. Took in a spring training game between the Angels and the White Sox. We're all back here for our 11th draw of the Bonspiel. Third draw today. This is our 4:30 draw. So we're starting out on sheet A as we typically do. Those of you familiar, as you know, we'll start out with about an end here. We'll move around on the sheet. 4 sheets, full action again today. So move from A to B to C to D alphabetically because we don't want to confuse anybody, namely myself. And we will keep an eye on all the games as we can as games tighten up, and as things progress we'll stick with certain games, or as you guys want to see particular things, let me know. We'll manipulate the cameras best we can to show you the teams your loved ones are playing on. We start of course on sheet A. This is the Prairie girls playing against Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em. So the Prairie girls and Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em, both out of town teams, coming to the Coyotes Club to curl in our Bonspiel. We appreciate their attendance. The Prairie girls are from Fort Saskatchewan Golf and Country Club in Alberta. Val Hansen Wilson is the skip. Carol Rideout is the vice skip. Judy Sangster throwing second stones. Renee Highland throwing the lead stones. And those jerseys do say Red Sox on them. Those ladies are wonderfully dressed out there. The Red Sox are the best, of course. If you don't agree, then sorry, you're wrong. But they will take on Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em, throwing the yellow stones. Great name out here from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club in California, of course. Jim Muyo is the skip. Paul Zaka the vice. Megan Richards throwing second stones. Heather Kopech will throw the lead for them. And you see this first end. We're halfway through. Few stones out front. Red stone coming in, going to hit a guard here and just push it back into the rings. That should stop back 4 foot. And so red sits one here early on in our first end. So you see Jim gets out there. He wants to peel those guards. He wants access to the house. He's going to try to do that as we progress through. So you see we're moving on to skip stones here in end number one. Not much has changed. Guards have moved around a little bit outside of the house, but still that one red rock on the back of the button after the bump up is sitting shot rock. So looks as though please hammer, don't hurt him. Aptly holds the hammer. So you see, trying to get one more in the house and able to get through the guards. That one's going to come through the 12-foot full, 8-foot, covering up the shot rock and sitting as shot 2. So a very nice shot there. And please hammer, don't hurt. I'm going to try to answer. I'm going to try to get back into this end here. So shot just coming into the rings now, and gonna hit one of the yellow guards out front. It is going to push that onto the rings, but not a rock of consequence at this point, as it'll sit shot 3. So one in the rings for yellow, but third shot right now. Still the red ones covered up, 1 and 2. So last redstone away for the first end. Prairie girls sitting 2 right now. This will be Val's last shot, looking like she's trying to get one inside of the yellow third shot rock. Just need to really be in the rings to do that, and this one looks like it's going to have the weight for it. Slides in and just gets a little tap on the second shot rock in the 8-foot. Is biting the 8-foot, touching the 8-foot. So 3 red rocks in scoring position now. 1 yellow rock to go. Last rock of the end. So in the hack for that hammer shot. Here comes Jim's last look at this first end. He's away out of the hack, rocks away. So first end in the books over on sheet A. We'll get you that score update on the board here in just a moment. No, no first end score going up just yet. We're going to move you over to sheet B to take a look at what's going on there. Introduce you to those teams for our 11th draw. As we mentioned, they're just getting started on end number 2. So let's take a look over there. And sheet B brings us a battle between a Coyotes Curling Club team in Peck's Bad Boys and a Good Girl. They are here out of the Coyotes Curling Club, as we mentioned. Dave Peck is the skip. Brian Cristal third. Debbie Aubrey is throwing second stones. And first stones are handled by Tom Stokes for the weekend. Their opponents, Rocket Science, dressed appropriately based on that. They're wearing lab coats, at least for the first couple ends, till it gets a little toasty out there. But Rocket Science is from the Ogden Curling Club in Utah, the Hollywood Curling Club in California, a bit of a hybrid team. Ben Womack is the skip, Cindy Wood the vice. Liza Barris is second, and Justin Stachnik will throw the lead stones for Rocket Science. So not sure how the first end went here. Of course, we're in the second end. If we're coming back towards the glass, we'll keep you posted on the scores just as soon as we get that information. So first couple rocks of this second end, a little heavy. Not rare, coming back this way after the first end, fresh pebble. Coming back, throwing rocks a little bit heavy. The first red rock you saw in the middle of the house, it's been moved now, and the first yellow rock out of play. So as we approach the midpoint of this second end, you see the heavy stones have continued for both teams. We have a little bit of action in the back of the house, nothing out front. Just one yellow sitting shot rock, one red on the back of the 12. So I know you guys have heard just me all day today, and I'm sure that's getting a little old. So we are lucky to be joined here now in the booth, room, pro shop, whatever you want to call it, by Eric Cole. He's going to help us with these games here in draw number 11.
Hi, Corey. Happy to be here. I see we got Peck's going on against Rocket Science. I don't know if you've mentioned it all, but we'd like to give a shout out to Cindy Wood on Rocket Science, better known for her sensational curling gear. Makes all their
Ah,
team uniforms. Find her on Facebook, website, the whole deal. She's actually done a few outfits for Debbie McCormick and a few others as well.
oh, outstanding! I didn't know that. See, I'm glad you came in to join us
I do what I
to help
can to
us out
help.
with that. Yeah, that's fantastic. Does that explain now that they're all wearing skirts?
Kilts, but
Kilts,
yes.
kilts,
Um,
skirts, call it what you will.
agreed, agreed. Yeah, she makes all of them for the team,
All
and
right.
yeah, something they've been doing. She also does broom bags and broom head covers, and will embroider it and everything else.
Something we all could use, certainly.
Yeah, if you're tired of looking at that old Crown Royal bag that everybody's used to seeing.
I always wondered what the use was for those. I was saving them just because they seemed important, and now I need more brooms.
Well, yeah, it's broom head covers and golf balls.
Right.
Outside of that, there really is.
And just, if you ever find yourself in an alcoholism contest, you can show off your Crown Royal bags. So it looks like Pex has gone and frozen a rock to that yellow shot stone. We talked about everything in the back of the house. So still an opportunity to just freeze on that and keep building toward the button there.
Yeah, typically you don't like to play behind the tee line. However, the way it's stacking up, it may not be a bad thing, and then you come down with a little bit of weight at some point, and depending on if you play an in-turn, out-turn, and what half the stone you hit, you may pop one or two out and end up sitting two or three by
Sure.
the end of the end.
Sure, and if we look at where I don't know the score from the first end, we'll turn around and try to get that as soon as we can. But it looks like Rocket Science does have the hammer in this end too. So and that's going to give it a pretty good jolt, unlock things there.
And as I'd kind of mentioned, yeah, they're only sitting the one, but you can see how they popped out on the sides, and now there's an opportunity to maybe come back and freeze to that one if you're Dave. Otherwise, still try and play something to the top of the 4-foot perhaps, or even the top of the 8, and guard what you have in the back, and then worry about the one he's wanting to freeze up to now.
Sure.
Came down with a bit more weight than anticipated. Now they are sitting 1-2. Calling for a takeout, maybe roll over and freeze up to the other one. But it's going to take a lot of weight. But Cindy certainly does come out of the hack with enough speed to throw those up weight shots.
So calling to the sweepers there, going to get the hit that Cindy was looking for. So nice shot there. Replaces the shot stone, and yellow Rocket Science sitting one now.
Brian Cristal in the house now as Dave Peck gets ready to throw. Brian recently back from the Senior Club Nationals. Went and represented in St. Paul. Had a wonderful time. They won a few games, lost a few games, but he said it was the first time he'd played at something at that level and really enjoyed the experience and was inspirational to him as one of the teams they played against had an average age of 79.
Wow.
Yes.
I hope they won that one.
Um, I didn't ask. He did say they were all using sticks, though.
Yeah. Yeah. So that shot from Dave does get the shot rock out of the house, but spills the shooter. Leaves red with one for now, but rocket science with the hammer here.
Yeah, and I don't know if throwing a takeout there was maybe the advised play, just because now if they hit and stick, you're sitting 3, and it becomes that much easier for rocket science to build a little bit of a decent quality end going on. And rocket science was probably hoping for a bit more of a nose hit there. And it's tough to tell from the overhead, but it does look like that yellow is still probably biting, but could end up being a non-factor in just a moment.
Still, everybody playing behind the tee line, as you mentioned earlier, Eric. Everybody playing behind the tee line in this, and kind of what they had to once they started hitting to finish up. But
Well, and it's interesting. We saw back in the hotter than hell spiel, I believe it was, when we had a team from Pennsylvania come down and they had a takeout to win, and those last 6 feet or so behind the tee line, how the ice changes at times on takeouts, really is interesting because if you're throwing normal, most teams will anticipate a 9-second hog to hog, but really that's based on ice from the tee line to the top of the house, not tee line back. So you really do need to compensate for that a little bit.
yeah,
And that's why I think we've probably seen a few of these over curl a little bit and not stick as they had wanted.
so Stone's coming into view now, sweeping hard on it. Debbie Aubrey and Tom Stokes, the front end of this Peck's Bad Boys and a Good Girl team. Sorry, we can't put the whole name on the board there for you.
And that came up probably a little bit lighter than what he was hoping because this leaves a pretty easy
Hit for
chip
4.
out. Yep,
Yeah.
hit for 4. You know, if they'd been able to freeze it, get on a little bit better, they'd have locked on. And really, you could have made a play and maybe given up a steal or, you know, just draw for 1 or freeze back right down to it. So that's, well, it's there. It was a missed shot.
So just talking about how they want to hit it here. Seems like a bit of a long conversation for the situation. But just where do you want to hit it? How do you want to get it out? Don't want it to hit any yellows on its way, that's for sure. So
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised they are coming at it this way as opposed to the other because now, if you depending that biter in the back, it could jam on that potentially. I'm really kind of surprised they aren't trying to chip it out the other way unless they know something about the ice and they're anticipating it to come all the way across the face or something. But
Yeah, definitely a smaller margin for error on this side because if you hit anything of yours, you're going to cut yourself down, and you never want to make a shot for the other team. And does get across the face and out through, so that will be, we think, 4. They're moving it pretty quickly. We're going to guess it's 4. And we'll turn this around, try to get a glance at the scoreboard from the first end so we can get the score updated for you. Then we're going to move over to sheet C.
It looks like Peck's Bad Boys got 1 in the first.
So a 4-1 score by our count. Looks like over on sheet C we have a 1-0 game. Well, I think the second end is done. They're into the third end, so we'll just move over to the hack here, wait for that score update, get that out to you.
Nils Johansson skipping a team out of Dallas. A few guys that came out and are super excited to be here at the facility. Nils, longtime world-class curler, originally out of Sweden, played out of Exmoor up in Illinois, and now plays out of the Coyotes Curling Club here. Lives just south of the Phoenix Valley. But he spent a little time last night after their last game working with those guys, and they were saying it's their first time that they've ever been able to practice.
Yeah.
You know, in their arena setting, they show up, they put the hacks in, they throw their stones, and they clean up, and that's it. Last night was their first time they've ever got to practice, and they were pretty excited about doing so.
Yeah, new curlers have had a chance to speak with the guys. Pretty excited to play with Nils. So just asked to get a skip and come out, and first Bonspiel, out-of-town Bonspiel for all of them. So.
And I don't think they could have probably got paired with a better individual.
No.
Smart, funny, willing to help, highly educated.
Certainly.
You know, does very well with a team like this. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, first thing I told them when I had a chance to talk with them and said, "You guys are playing with Nils. You guys just won the lottery there." And they, I said, "Don't be intimidated. Be excited." We talk about the Tribe, and that's the team that Nils is skipping. We'll give you the names of the Dallas-Fort Worth club members.
Something that I just want to point out real quick. We just got done watching that other end on sheet B where all the play was behind the tee line. Now you see that they came back with one that was a little deep there for Rocks of Justice, and Nils' call had nothing to do with that stone.
Right.
That's just a little bit more modern, a little probably more experienced play. And also knowing that he's with some newer curlers, it may be difficult to throw a freeze or something like that, and you'd still remain vulnerable. But they do have 2 nice guards up, so they will be able to come around and build on those.
Yeah, certainly a deep stone like that, just not dangerous yet. So Nils continues to build the end. He's got the hammer, as you can see from the scoreboard behind him. It looks like Rocks of Justice took 1 in each of the first 2 ends. So holding the hammer, just going to build his end and forget about that stone for now. Really not an issue. So as we mentioned, the Tribe is made up Nils Johansson out of the Coyotes Curling Club now, skipping the team of David Morris as the vice, Grant Morris as the second, Steve Owen as the lead. I know the Tribe would indicate to you in a spring training Bonspiel they'd be Cleveland Indians fans. They are not. They are Ranger fans, so those of you out in Dallas-Fort Worth watching this saying, what the heck? They do love the Rangers, but they are all Native American heritage, so that's why they went with the Tribe in this one.
Something else that's kind of interesting about that team and something we have going on here, we had recently Darwin and Diane from north of the border donated 24 copies, signed copies of the Furby 4 that we are taking donations on, and they were the first 3 sold, or first 3 donated to, was from those guys out of Dallas. So they're leaving not only with some great experience, but a fantastic memento.
Yeah, I think they were all a little surprised. I mean, they were all really, not necessarily surprised, but really thrilled to be able to play with Randy Furby, get an opportunity to get that signed book and just kind of experience. As I've said, Eric, you know, I've said time and time again, it's just amazing how much access you can get in this sport and quickly. So glad to have Randy here and thank you to that club for donating those books as well. So we mentioned the Rocks of Justice got one in each of the first two ends. Rocks of Justice is a team that is joining us out of the Hollywood Curling Club in California. Chris Olander is the skip. You see him in the house there. Dwight Okahara, third. Jen De La Fuente is the second on this team, and Jason Horn leading. So,
And I think this is probably the second or third time Okahara's been here with a team, or on a team. In some of the events we've got going on, certainly becoming familiar with the club, a recognizable face out in the West for sure.
certainly, yeah, get a lot of repeat offenders out here when we have a Bonspiel, so we appreciate that. And of the 32 teams in the Spiel this weekend, I think 24 are out-of-town teams, are mostly made up of out-of-town curlers. Of course, we have some hybrid teams, as we've mentioned, but a big out-of-town presence. So we appreciate you guys coming out.
So we're going just for the tap back here, Rocks of Justice. Maybe a little bit of a hit and roll. Try and get something under some cover. And I don't know if that was executed as well as they had hoped, considering they lost one of their stones and they're still exposed by about a half a stone. Nils asking for back rings weight, wanting for something just to play a little tap back on it.
A couple of signals there. So talking with these guys about what those mean. Said hands on the broom, looking for the tap back, like you said, pointed to the back line, and just wants to move that yellow one off of its position. Looks like.
Seemingly quite a bit of discussion here as far as what could happen or what could transpire. Really, I think the smart play may be to just draw that port. There's plenty of rocks up front, and you can see it looks like they're going to come around and try and get something into maybe the top of the forefoot from the ice that he's going to be given. Little unusual to see the white broom head from the skip. Most everybody goes with either the lime neon green or the safety orange.
Certainly want to be able to see it. So that broom in the 8-foot can be a little tricky. White broom head, white brush heads.
And the way they're calling off on the sweeping there, I wonder if it's going to possibly wreck on a couple of these guards, and the tribe could get a little lucky here and get a raise out of something. Not enough to be dangerous. Nils asking for a little bit more weight. Now calling for hack. And I know something that a lot of the people have come with, and it's amazing to see how they progress over the couple days of a spiel with their weights. because we're running 14.5 second ice on a draw and hog to hog, and it's lightning quick compared to what most people are
Absolutely.
playing. This is World Championship ice, it's Olympic speed ice, it's Briar Scotties, things of that nature. So people have the tendency to really dial it in after a few games, but to really bring it back is
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah. So a little wide on that one. Did miss the hit. A little bit of a change. You mentioned Neil's calling for hack weight instead of back line weight because had to hit two stones there, but didn't get a hit on either of them. And we move to skip stones now here in the third end.
Stone is away. And Sweeper's getting on it. Looks to be light, just a guard ultimately. Um, looking at the way it's set up, I wouldn't be surprised if Nils throws the run back double here.
Yeah,
It's definitely
he's
there. He's got the experience, and you can see that's certainly what
yeah
he's.
he's wanted to run his redstone there the last two and hasn't gotten the hit he's looking for. So now he gets to throw it. Like you said, I think he's going to be looking for a little bit here.
And the great thing is they go from sitting shot 2 to probably sitting shot 1-2
Yeah.
and controlling the house.
And with a house this clean, too, always dangerous for Niels to have the hammer.
Well, the interesting thing is I'm looking ahead now. You've been on the other side of the house. You do have, depending on how it's played, there's potential for a possible split even, to try and get two more in if he pulls this
Sure,
double off.
sure.
Sweeping just called on now. Well, he is able to move him around a bit. The red is sitting shot and it is fairly exposed, and they quickly come out and say we need to put a guard up, which is the right call. And we're just looking for a 2-3 guard here. And I wonder how you want to stagger it, because there is potential for a double run back. Otherwise, there's that on the outside of the house. There's something else that could be raised up, kind of an angle raise
Yeah.
that Nils has.
A couple options. This shot a little heavier than I think they wanted, but it's shot 3, so
Well, the neat thing is now that double's possibly there,
yeah,
where Nils can come in off that yellow, roll over, and bump it out the back as well.
Mm-hmm. And that looks like his thought process here, Eric, as you point out, lining up that yellow rock.
Yeah, you catch off that inside, you roll over, you bump the other one back, and you still manage to get your two. Then it's 2-2 after 3, and it's
Yeah,
game on.
absolutely.
Nils will be probably coming somewhere around normal takeout weight. If we were to time it, it'd probably be somewhere 9 seconds hog to hog. And he does manage to get the first, but the second one does just sneak on by on that rollover, so it's another steal of one for the Rocks of Justice.
So we'll update that scoreboard. You see, they'll hang that in just a moment. We're going to move over to sheet D. Haven't been there yet in this draw. Spin around, looks like they're coming back in what would be end number 4. And spinning back around to the other side, just want to see the score right after this stone comes to a stop.
Before we get to the score, I'm going to go out on a limb knowing what I know about Erin Rohde and the teams that she's brought here a couple of times she's been. They're probably going to be the favorite in this match, but we'll let the score dictate that.
We'll see that that rock is resolved. A little bit of a hit there. And let's turn back to that board, see what the score is, see if Eric's prediction is correct. And we see, as you mentioned, a 6-0 score.
6-1
6-1 score.
after 3.
So, as Eric mentioned, Erin Rohde is the skip of the team No Crying in Curling. They come to us from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club in California. I almost said Canada, like California's Canada. It's not.
Same population.
Right, roughly. Actually, probably more. Jennifer Perez is her third. Carrie Van Norman is throwing second stones, and Alana Ketchel throwing the lead stones for that squad today. Bond girls, you see, are out of Hollywood Curling Club, also in California, not Canada. Marissa Messier is the skip. Jennifer Gamboa is the vice. Donna Umal Mendoza is throwing second stones, and Katie Kerr will lead for that team.
And that shot came through a little bit hot for what they were hoping. Try and load up that 4-foot area.
So Bond Girl's trying to build an end here, down 6-1 early, but sitting 2 so far.
Aaron Rhodey throwing the first of her 2 stones here in the 4th end. Looking for the freeze, a little bit heavier than what they were hoping for. Not sure if that was an issue due to weight or due to line that it wasn't able to at least tap one of those yellows back. And really, right here now, what they should do is they should go to put it on the top of the 4 to prevent no crying from being able to come back in. That way, if they try and hit it, it'll jam on theirs in the back, and they'll still be guaranteed to get at least 2, if not 3, with the last stone for the Bond girls. And you can see there she's indicating with her broom that she wants it at the top of the 8. Which is also a very
find
safe
a way
play.
to stop it there. So it looks like it could be coming in a little bit heavy. They pick up the brooms though and stop top 8.
There we go. Well executed. Sitting 3. Special shout out to Jeff Baird, who just brought us a fresh round of Bell's Two-Hearted.
Yes.
Out of the great state of Michigan.
It is, yeah. Kalamazoo. Well, on the bottle it says Comstock. Kalamazoo, Comstock. I don't know. I've never been to Michigan. Maybe they're close.
You just got to look at a mitten and you'll know where it's at.
There you go. Yeah. They have a great lake there, though. So that's always good. Any state on a Great Lake is a state I like. So.
So, speaking of Great Lakes, going back many moons ago when I was at the University of Minnesota, we were on our way up to
The land
Thunder.
of 10,000 lakes.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we were on our way up to Thunder Bay, and one of the guys in my riding with us, who shall remain nameless at this moment, as we were going for hours along Lake Superior, says, "Wow, this is a pretty big lake." I said, "Hence its name, Lake Superior."
It's a great lake and named Lake Superior.
Yes,
so,
it is.
Yeah.
It is not exactly a puddle.
It's pretty much the Great Lake, if I'm not mistaken. I think. What is it? That's the biggest. Michigan, the deepest. Ontario, the smallest, but has the best colleges. Lake Ontario.
I can only assume you're referring to the juggernaut that is the University of Buffalo.
That's a Lake Erie University. Sorry, but yeah, close. Certainly, they've reached juggernaut status, but very nice school out there.
And we do have an open draw for 4 with plenty of backing, so this will certainly put the Bond girls right back in it. Or should.
Yeah, and coming down, it's gonna knock out one of the yellows. We're gonna give them 3. Closes the gap, but you can't help but feel like you missed something there. So as this game tightens up on sheet D, we will be back. We're going to check in on A again, see where they are. Looks like we're coming back in end number 4. Spin you around after this one, get a score update.
I had the privilege of playing against Team International the other night on sheet. That's playing here on sheet A. We played them on sheet C or B, can't remember. But
So you see Jim getting down into a pretty good crouch there. Um, we tend to think when a skip gets down like that, he likes the line. We'll maybe talk to Jim later about that. But if nothing, it seems like that rock came up a little bit light from what he was looking for. Interesting fact, Eric, I don't think you were here for the first end. We were on sheet A. The baseball jerseys the Prairie girls are wearing do say Red Sox because they're right in their opinions. So just point that out. I also like the Oakland Athletics, don't get me wrong, but
and a special thank you to all the teams that did participate in wearing uniforms and hats and festive gear.
yeah, had a lot of good baseball looks out there. We've had full-on uniforms, the baseball pants and the high socks.
Some retro looks, some movie inspired looks.
Indeed, a Ted Williams jersey that you'll see again shortly. I hope. Hint, Jeff, if you're listening, wear the Ted Williams jersey.
So the Prairie Girls sitting 1-2, and Hammer, please don't hurt them, sitting 3-4 on this. So it'll be being interesting to see how this turns out if they decide to start peeling something out and clearing some of that up front, which they're almost probably going to be forced need to do now. Come in and try and run something back perhaps because they have solidified their position now with 1, 2, and 4, and just a lot of rocks in play, to be honest.
Yeah, and shot rock covered up pretty comfortably. No good run backs on that either, as guards are staggered out there. So second shot open still, but good position to be in, especially not holding the hammer. And of course, that 0-0 score we don't believe to be accurate. So we'll get an update on that as soon as we can and know where we stand. But without the hammer, shot rock behind that much cover is probably a good situation to be in with skip stones. So we mentioned to you a moment ago that second shot rock exposed. A little bit of a touch on it from Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em. They slid behind in the 8 foot behind the 4 foot behind the tee line. Their second shot now, so just one.
So, eighth stone. Probably looking top 8, although if you do come back a little deep and you freeze back, it does force Please Hammer Don't Hurt them to draw in for 1, because otherwise then they're staring down 3, possibly 4,
Sure.
if you just tap that yellow back.
So no brooms on there. Just gonna looks.
That's a well executed shot for the most part. It does give Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'em an opportunity to come in and freeze to it for 1,
Sure.
play something a little bit heavier and tap it back.
And
But
it almost shows Jim the line there too. You
yeah,
talked about the draw for 1, and that's the shot he'd have to throw.
one of the things that they talk about in the Curl Sask programs run by Amber Holland is always know your play for 1. Uh, you should always have some type of contingency plan. Do you want your 2? Yes. Do you mind giving up 1? Not necessarily, but in a situation like this where you're going to give up 2 or possibly more like we've seen in a couple of the other games, you always have to have a play to get your 1.
Yep.
And this could be very unfortunate here as they count. Oh, there's
Hit
just not
the
enough momentum on
guards.
it. Rex on the front guards. And it is a steal of 2 for the Prairie Girls, it appears.
We're going to put 2 on the board. I'll spin it around. We'll see what has happened in previous ends to see what the score is where we stand. So it looks like the Prairie Girls are at with a 5-2 lead.
Now it would be 7.
Oh yeah, so 7 with that end. So on to end
Little
5.
TCOB. Canadian band, by the way. Bachman Turner Overdrive. Taking care of
Okay,
business.
okay, there. Nice. Well, many levels there that I missed, but oh, Canada, so that's good. So looking over on sheet B, you see the scoreboard there on B. We got a close game there. Looks like a 3-0 lead erased rather quickly, or I'm sorry, a 4-1 lead closed rather quickly by Team Pex. We're finishing up the 4th end here. We'll stay with you on sheet B for the 5th end.
Yeah, and right now, Peck's Bad Boys and a Good Girl are currently sitting shot, trying to pull it in for possibly to sit 1-2 if the sweepers can drag it far enough. And that'll be very close, but to quote Glenn Fry, the heat is on right now, so that way they can force Rocket Science just to draw in for 1.
Dude, I'm cool with Bachman Turner Overdrive, but let's stay away from the Eagles and former Eagles. No dice.
The good news is with the handle that they are coming in on here, should they be a bit heavy or it over curls, there is plenty of backing, which should allow them to at least get their one and move on. But you wonder, we missed a good portion of this end if there was a couple of shots that could have been made to clean a few things up, or if there
Sure.
was missed shots, because again we see 2, 4, 5
Yeah.
stones currently behind the tee line again.
Looks like the weight's been tricky again, yeah. And we have some jumping in the house. So asking that rock to settle down, and it does. Sticks to the back of the button, and we'll give Rocket Science 1 for that end. We told you we'd stick with you for a full end here. This game's pretty close, so let's turn you around to the other side of the sheet. We'll see the score go up, and we'll stick with you to, or please stick with us for one more end here on sheet B.
And we have the center line guard going up, as to be expected. Peck calling for top of the 12-foot. Dave Peck, longtime curler, long been affiliated with both MoPac and the USCA. We're happy to have him here as a full-time resident now that he's retiring. Lived in Denver for a long time.
Yeah, so everybody's sweeping that one to try to get it to the top of the house. Not quite going to get there, but I don't think that's catastrophic at
No,
this
that's
point.
actually that's what you'd consider like the pro side miss to a
Sure.
degree. You'd much rather have it there than through the house or
Mm-hmm.
deep. It gives you an opportunity to try and raise it up, perhaps curl around it, something of that nature.
Yeah, definitely usable and close enough too if you have an opportunity to split it too. And
Yeah, you know, we're still in the first 4 rocks at the end. You have the free guard zone.
yeah,
You may as well capitalize on it. And this one here is coming in a bit hot, it appears.
yeah, no brooms on that one.
No.
Yeah, gonna get all the way through, or not.
And hopefully Dave does choose to ignore it this time and work with what he's got up front.
So sweeping that rock down in, Dave joins the fight there. Another guard did ignore the yellow rock as you implored him to do so. Yellow rock really not an issue at this point, that deep. I think he wanted a come around there. See
Yeah, that is what he called. Probably a little inside, probably a little light, and now you've got the two sitting right there.
that? This appears to be a hit on those guards, given the ice that was called. Or the weight of the shot coming in.
Yeah, I think he wanted
Maybe
to come
over
around his
curled
yellow.
or.
No, I think he wanted to come around his yellow guard
Yeah,
and sit top of the 8 foot is what it looked like, and they were probably a bit wide, but the weight was probably pretty close to
yeah, wait.
appropriate. Now, if you're Peck, you got a little thing. Yeah, you still need to come around, curl around. You got to try and put something top of the 4 foot.
Does put that first red guard we talked about into the house with that last shot.
Yes, it
And
does. And
I
it's
would
tough to tell if
guess
it's.
it might be counting. But,
Yeah, difficult to see from this angle. However, it is. It's certainly good. It's more. It should be more of a factor
yeah,
as the end comes to.
not terribly important at this
Yep.
point, that's for sure. And that one's going to be heavy and out through the house.
Little Linda Ronstadt action.
A little blue bayou.
Yes, that is correct. And now rocket science actually has a couple of options they can do. One is they could still try and draw around that guard up top, or they can maybe try and raise that yellow now because it is pretty well in line with the yellow that's in the back.
Pretty much put it in the same spot they were looking for on the last shot too. I mean, if
Yep.
you get a little tap there. So calling off the brooms on this one.
The danger here is if they catch it, if it over curls a bit or they were a bit inside and they're a little heavy, they can raise that yellow and put that red even further in, just depending. But nope, it is way short.
Yeah, very light there.
Shot is away. Still looking for that elusive 4 foot.
Yeah, so interesting to see the one shot that was a little bit heavy. The one I thought was going out of the house stuck to the back there.
This should be a pretty
And
decent
everything
shot
else
here.
has been a little
They got
light. This one's looking good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was right at 14 seconds hog to hog, so probably running about 13.8.
So it doesn't quite finish or bury the way Peck may have wanted. So looking to hit it now.
Yeah, and who knows if it just didn't curl or they were a little outside. Something that they could have possibly done was had the sweeper switch to try and get it to drag over further.
And this is one too didn't happen. You know, if it didn't curl as much as you thought it would, and then you come out and try to throw a heavy shot, maybe you don't get enough curl, but a really good shot, nose hit, does take that rock out. Leaves the shooter rock exposed though.
Yeah, what you want to do is here is you want to hit on the inside of that stone and roll behind that cover. With those, even with that high yellow guard, that the run back won't be there. And
Hmm.
as you can see, that's exactly what Dave is calling is the hit and roll.
Yeah, and the nose hit here doesn't do you much good, as you mentioned. The hit and roll is preferable, of course, because you have more cover, and because if you just hit it, you just move a little further out in the 12 foot and still would be exposed. So a little less ice, maybe adjusting for the lack of curl on their last shot.
Well, and in order to execute the hit and roll, you do have to throw a bit more up weight. But the primary objective there is it does take out the one, but it does jam on the back, leaving yellow still sitting one, as opposed to the 1-2.
Yep. Still open for a draw on that side, and of course, Peck has the hammer in this end. But you certainly don't want to resign yourself to one with this many stones to play.
Dave now choosing to make a play on that one in the back, and it's probably about time.
Yeah,
It's appropriate.
a little bit of actions on the guard there. A little bit of action there on the guards too. Leaves it wide open. So a little bit of curl on that. It's going to work out nicely. So leaves the new shot rock exposed, but does satisfy the primary objective, as you mentioned earlier, getting that stone out of play. So.
Yeah, you know having the hammer in this end, you can afford to kind of leave that exposed, provided now they don't roll over. It gives you an opportunity. I mean, preferably you would have liked to have rolled behind cover, but the like you had said, the primary objective was to at first get that shot stone out and be sitting 1-2, because now they're trying to figure out how do we get back into a position of power while trying to steal.
So action again on that shot rock in the back of the house. Another good hit. That one does get a little bit of a roll to it, but doesn't get all the way behind.
Yeah, now the difference becomes, instead of trying to throw like maybe normal, you throw a hack or a back line in order to get that to curl over a little bit more to get that one, because it's not gonna, and it's still far enough back where you don't need to throw extreme weight to get it.
Right.
Oh, you're only trying to move it a couple of feet.
So shots away for Dave Peck, his first rock of this fifth end.
Came in with way more heat than I was anticipating.
It's going to be outside of it too, yeah. So you mentioned before, Eric, the don't need a ton of weight there, extreme weight, unnecessary given you just don't have to go very far.
Yeah, that was probably closer to normal. Where really
Mm-hmm.
hack would have done the job. It probably would have come over, allowed you to curl, and because you only have to move that stone out 2 feet.
Sure.
You don't have to get it to go the full 12. It's not like it's sitting at the top of the house.
Yeah, it just needs to get out of play, and that the lighter weight, the extra curl also allows you to get across the face of that rock and hopefully bury when you finish up. So gives Rocket Science here an opportunity to try to guard that, so we can stop coming down that line and knocking out that shot rock. At this point, you start to think we can steal this end.
And really, where you want to be is probably top of the 8, maybe full 12, because then you're sitting 1-2,
Yeah,
and you're really forcing Peck to maybe try and come around that other side and be full 8, possibly even having to bite the forefoot, just depending on where you leave it. But to try and throw a double or run
right.
something back is going to be too difficult.
Well, and too risky, I think, too, at this stage in the game, which leaves you a good chance to steal one, or even at this point, forcing one would be pretty fantastic for Rocket Science. And I think you're in a good position for that, at the very least.
Yeah, you're definitely in a good position for the force, and to coincide with that, you also maintain the hammer in the even ends, which
Sure.
isn't talked about a whole lot, and that guard was certainly a bit lighter
Yeah,
than what they were
that's
anticipating.
definitely light and was curling a little more than they wanted for sure,
Yeah.
but probably a function of it being just too light. Now, I don't often talked about strategy on television broadcasts when you guys are watching. If you guys are watching TSN, and you should be because it's on Watch ESPN now, all the TSN broadcasts. Watch Canadian curling, the best of the best for sure. They talk about the hammer and the even end strategy, and almost in some cases blanking ends in the first, blanking odd ends just for the sake of maintaining the hammer, even when you have a chance to score a couple sometimes.
Well, that's something over the last couple of seasons the Holman team has been so effective at doing when
Yeah,
they win the hammer off the get-go, is they play for the blank in that first end,
sure,
and then they go to maintain it the whole way through,
right.
in the evens, and it's worked out okay for them last time I checked.
They've won a few games. I mean, a couple times. I mean, they've been at it so long, they're getting so old that you'd expect some success, right? So, it's, we want to turn you around. That end, of course, is done. It looks like a steal of one that time around. So we'll take that rocket science up to 6-3 now. Sixth end coming back to the glass. We're going to go over to sheet C, check in on that game. That game was closing up a little bit, so take a look at how things are going there. The Tribe and Rocks of Justice.
And just a high guard there still gives them plenty of opportunity, perhaps drawing through that port since it is high enough up, or play something maybe again with a little bit more weight, kind of like a hack or a board. Oh, there's the call for hack. Come down through and create some separation.
Yeah, Rocks of Justice sitting one and stuck to that red rock, so getting to the point where you want to close this gap a little bit. He's, as you mentioned, Nils calling for the hack weight. Unlock these stones, maybe.
And that's precisely what they did. Now they're sitting shot with, the plenty of yellow backing there as well.
And then a little bit of yellow coverage, too,
Yep.
which is good. So, good shot there.
Well, Corey, it's been real. It's been fun. I don't know that I could say it's been real fun, but I got a game coming up here shortly myself, so it's been fun spending a little time in the booth with you.
Absolutely. Appreciate you coming.
No, appreciate it. Keep up the good work, and we'll see you on the ice.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck to you. So thanks again to Eric for joining us. Good luck to him and to the Run Back Double Days. He and the Darrow Horseman Rink out there for our next draw, so we'll see them out on the ice. We'll stick with you now through the end of this draw. We're in the sixth end, as you know, as you can see, with the Tribe and Rocks of Justice. So you see just a couple stones remaining in this end, and the tribe, led by Niels Johansson, has set up. They're sitting 2 right now, from what I can see. So it could close this gap here. And you see that yellow stone, the last stone from the Rocks of Justice. Just does wick off a guard there, and not of consequence at this point. So just discussing the best way to get to 3 here for the tribe. So talked it over, and he looks like they're going to try to just draw in between the red ones they already have there. They have some backing, but you can't move it too much. I'm trying to get to 3 here. So just coming through, everybody's sweeping. Family brush on this one. Try to drag it, guy. Not going to get it enough. So just gets almost to the edge of the 8 foot. It's going to be 2 for the tribe. Ties things up as we go to the 7th and keeps this game close. We're going to stay on this game with you as this one has drawn to a tie. So we'll stick with you on the 7th end there. So you see this seventh end is starting out with two center guards. Each team with one center guard out there, and you see red throws another high guard. And so a nice shot there. Well, unfortunate shot there for the Rocks of Justice. Actually, as you see Niels slide that rock back. Um, that was the fourth stone of the end, so still within the free guard zone. Of course, that red rock was not in the house, so not something that could be hit and taken out. So they replace that, take the yellow shooter out of play, and Niels calls for a draw behind cover. So rock coming down, sweepers are on the broom heart, and it's gonna crash on the high red guard. And you see Rocks of Justice. It looks like they're going to start moving some of these guards around out in front of the house with the target. So again, you see the Tribe comes up a little light. Just another guard just off the center line, so bit of a Christmas tree out there. All short of the house, so no rocks in the house in this end. 4 red rocks on the center line, or near the center line, and that one yellow guard is out on the corner, a little bit out of play. You see the Rocks of Justice call is to draw in behind all this red cover. And you see calling off the sweepers so that it does draw in and stops on the top of the button. So a nice shot there. Might be... well, not really accessible there, but Niels is asking to come down to it. And again, that redstone looked like it was a little light. We'll never know for sure because it got a wreck on one of the red guards out there. So red guards doing their work, unfortunately, for a yellow shot stone on the top of the button. Looks like we may have a path in though, so we'll see how this end progresses from here. So still a lot of rocks to play in this end. It looks like yellow rocks, 4 to go. You see one on the button, one corner guard, kind of out of things right now. 2 have been out of play, so fifth yellow stone is away now. The Rocks of Justice third is Dwight Okahara throwing this stone. So pretty light on that one. You see that kind of nestle in between a couple of red guards just over the hog line. And Nils quickly calling for a draw here. So 4-4 here in the 7th end. Just to reset things, we are nearing skip stones for the Tribe and Rocks of Justice match. Here we have the last of the Vice Stones for the Rocks of Justice. Looks like they're trying to draw through, maybe, and get another shot in the house. So just one rock in the house on the button. Everything else out in front. But he's been a little light in this end. Looks like this one may be as well. So just a wick off that red guard, and not going to be enough to get to the house. Hits a yellow guard as well, that yellow corner guard. So yellow still sitting 1. Looks like there may be a path in. And we move to skip stones here. Nils Johansson will go down to throw his first rock of this 7th end. So shot on the way and comes across the hogline. Going to hit that red guard. Does open up a wider port to the button. And you see Rocks of Justice. And their skip, Chris Olander, quickly going out and says, we want to close that up. We don't need him coming in and hitting this. So I'm going to try to put one in front. And leave that one on the button, setting himself up with the hammer to find a way to 2 points here. So last shot of the end here for Niels Johansson and the Tribe. 2 yellow rocks now in the house in scoring position. So it's going to look to change that up a little bit. So you see Niels gets in there and he does hit both yellow stones, but leaves a yellow stone in the top 4 foot. And with just 1 rock to play and it being a yellow rock, not ideal. So if you're the Rocks of Justice here, you try to come in and get your 2, and then hold off for the 8th end. So final rock coming in now. You see the yellow rock from the Rocks of Justice, and it is going to be enough to wick into the rings, and I think that's probably good for a second shot. They'll take a look at it. Of course, that yellow one on the button, certainly number 1.